Pretty cool, huh? Let's talk about titles in music videos. Hey guys, welcome to the Filmora music video series. My name's Johnny. We've almost finished our music video, and today we're gonna dive into titles. We'll talk about some creative choices you should consider when adding titles to your music videos, and then we'll show you how to get a glitchy neon title effect like we used for the music video for Blau's song Tokyo. But before we get into it, I highly recommend you take a look at our color correction and color grading video if you haven't checked it out yet. Link in the description. A title can be a great way to set the stage visually for your music video. Not every music video needs to have one, but if the concept or artist calls for it, you should definitely try adding a title to your music video. Chances are that the artist might have already picked a font, logo, or even animation to promote their single with. In the case of Tokyo, Blau had already chosen a neon font to use to promote his new single, so we used that as inspiration for the title that we made. The sky's the limit when it comes to how you place your title, but one thing I'd highly recommend is that you make sure that your title is legible and it stays on screen long enough for the audience to read it. You could add a really small font with lots of kerning to add a sense of scale to a wide shot. You could use a really large blocky font to add impact when the title appears, or you could place your title in the negative space in a shot. We used that last method with Tokyo. It gives us legibility, scale, and has a style indicative of the aesthetic of the music video. And that's the main point I want to emphasize, aesthetic. If there's a clear theme for the music video that you're making, your title should fit that aesthetic. You shouldn't just use a title because it looks cool. That being said, here's a look at how you can make a cool glitchy neon effect like we did for Tokyo. We're gonna split this effect up into 3 phases. Phase 1, we're gonna set up our line animation. Phase 2, we're gonna animate the glow effect. And phase 3, we're gonna place it in the music video. So let's create those lines. First, find a blocky font to type out your text. Let's create an outline on this text that's about 4 pixels wide. We'll set our text's fill to transparent and our outline color to white. I'll center my title on our frame and make sure there's a good bit of space between your title and the edges of the frame. Next, we're going to create a bunch of masks. We want to make our outlines that make up this text look like they're appearing in a few different steps. Let's start by drawing a mask over the letter T in this title. Now we should only see the T. I'm going to duplicate this mask with Control or Command D. So now that we have 2 identical masks, we're going to invert both masks, make sure that the top one is set to add and set the bottom one to subtract. Finally, let's turn off the bottom mask for now. Now you should see the whole title except for the letter you're working on. On our top mask, let's go down to the transform properties, move ahead about 4 frames, which you can do by dragging the playhead or pressing the right arrow key 4 times. Click this circle beside path to enable keyframing. Next, let's hit our right arrow key once to move ahead 1 frame. And with the freehand mask tool selected, adjust our corner points so that some of the outline shows. We want to imagine our outlines as paths starting from one point in the letter, wrapping around the letter, and then completing it, all in a few steps. If we decide to start in the upper left corner of the T and move clockwise around it, the next step would be seeing some of the top and right parts of it like this. Let's move forward 4 frames, set a keyframe, move forward 1 more, and once again adjust the mask so that more of the outline becomes visible like this. We'll repeat this again by going ahead another 4 frames, setting a keyframe, moving ahead 1 more frame, and then almost completing this outline. Finally, we'll move ahead 3 more frames, just for variety, set a keyframe, and then 1 frame later, take our mask completely off the letter so that the entire outline is visible. Turn your lower mask in the controls panel back on, and congrats! You've just completed the letter T. To work on a new letter, let's click on our text in the timeline, copy it with Control or Command C, paste it with Control or Command V, and then click on Create New Tracks. We'll go to the controls panel and delete both of the masks. Now, on this new text layer, let's work on the letter O. O is a tricky letter. We want to treat the inside outline separately from the outside outline. First, let's create the circular mask around the inner part of the O with the elliptical mask tool. We can keep the mask circular by holding Shift. Next, like before, we'll duplicate this mask with Ctrl or Command D, invert both masks, and set the bottom mask to subtract and turn it off for now. Next, open our top mask's transform properties. Move ahead about 4 frames. Click this circle beside Path to enable keyframing. We'll move 1 frame ahead, and with the freehand mask tool, click a little left of the point at the bottom of the mask to create a new point. Let's also create another point slightly below the leftmost point on that mask. Now we can take both of these new points and bring them inwards into the circle like this. The idea is that we're almost taking a bite out of this mask to reveal a small part of the circle. Let's move ahead 4 more frames, create a keyframe, move forward 1 more frame, and this time in the upper left part of our circle, do what we did before. We'll repeat this until the whole circle is visible. Let's turn on our lower mask and see how that looks. For the outer part of the O, we'll do the exact same thing after duplicating our text layer and removing its masks. I'll create a new elliptical mask around the outer part of our O, duplicate it, invert both of the masks, and set the lower one to subtract like last time. Let's turn off the lower mask and go into the upper mask. For extra style, I recommend starting your path on the opposite side and going in the opposite direction around the O than you did on the inside. Apply these techniques to all of your letters and you'll have a title that looks like this. Fun fact, you can save time by copying repeated letters and moving them instead of making them again by scratch. That's what I did for this O at the end of Tokyo. Whew! Alright, ready for phase 2? Now we're going to animate a glow effect on our lines. So let's begin by adding a neon glow effect to our bottom text layer. To make it easier to focus on the effect, I'm going to mute all the other tracks for now. Let's set the expansion to 2 and the radius to 6. This will be a good start to the core of our glow. Next, we're going to animate the intensity of this neon glow effect with keyframes. Let's scrub to where our letter first starts appearing, and you can enable keyframing by pressing this circle beside intensity or with the / key. Move forward a couple frames, set another keyframe at about 0.3, move 1 or 2 more frames forward, and keep setting keyframes randomly between 0.3 and 1 to give it a violent flickering look. Once the letter is fully formed, you can start setting less violent keyframes every 2 or 3 frames between the values of 0.7 and 0.9. Once you've done about 10 keyframes, highlight all of these new keyframes and click the filled-in diamond icon up here to set them to smooth keyframes. This will help our flickering become a little bit more subtle. Finally, copy these smooth keyframes, scrub ahead a little bit, and keep pasting them until you reach the end of the clip. Next, let's duplicate this neon glow effect with Ctrl or Command D. I'm going to set our duplicated glow's expansion to 0, and the radius to 30. I'm also going to make it a little less bright by going into our color and making it a slightly darker gray. Finally, duplicate this neon glow effect with Ctrl or Command D, and we'll set this last glow effect's radius to 250. And there we go. Finally, let's copy all 3 effects and paste them on the other odd-numbered text layers. Let's also paste it on our second layer, but in there, I'm going to highlight all 3 neon glow effects intensity keyframes and offset them by about 2 frames like this. This is to help randomize our flickering. Let's copy the 3 neon glow effects and paste them on the rest of our even-numbered text layers. This is a large number of effects and tracks happening at once, so you may want to lower your video quality to get good playback. And there we go, a neon effect. Let's export this by selecting Export, Add to Queue, Contents. And I'm going to select a nice lossless format like ProRes 422 HQ. Now we'll have this title file that we can drag onto our music video edit. All right, phase 3. We're gonna take our title and put it into the music video. I'll import my title into the media panel and find the part of the video where I want to place it. I'll drag the title onto the clip and set its blend mode to screen. Next, for this music video, I'm going to reposition and resize the title a bit so that it fits the negative space of the shot. If I want to give this neon effect some color, I'll add a curves effect and play with the RGB values a bit. For example, if I wanted the neon title to be purple, I could adjust the curves like this. We'll bring down the green a little bit. We'll make a bit of an S shape curved with the red. We'll bump up the blues. That said, I'm going to reset this effect since we decided to stick with a white neon effect instead. I'm also going to adjust our RGB curve a little bit just to make the light fall off from our glow a little bit more realistic. Finally, if we want this title to kind of glitch away, we can simply copy and paste our title, add a time reverse effect onto it, trim down the clip a bit, and place it at the tail end of our original title. There we go. That's the title for Tokyo. So that's how you can make neon titles like we did for the Tokyo music video. Stay tuned next Saturday for the final video in the series where we talk about your final export. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, there's no limit to what you can make.